Hey, everybody. Welcome to the We Talk Sports podcast. As always, I'm your host, Corey Tanisoff, joined by co-host Gerald Mendoza and PJ Dolan. So
I'm lightheaded, bro.
Shut up, guys. So we've got a lot to talk about, and we're going to start off talking about UFC. But before we get to that, we're going to start. Don't put me on full. Stop this. Stop this match.
This is a group combo, bro. So before
we talk about the Ultimate Fighting Championship, we're going to talk about the real Ultimate Fighter, and that is in the new movie coming out, Godzilla versus King Kong. Now, I'm out here on the record saying, if you take King Kong to beat Godzilla, you're an absolute moron. You have bricks in your brain. You have one. Look, you have. All right. On one side, you have a reptile lizard who is radioactively bred and can withstand nuclear blasts, can shoot lasers out of his mouth, has armor hide everywhere on his body, can live underwater and on land, and is just a menace. Super strong, really quick on it. And on the other side, you got a big monkey. That's all I've got for you.
So,
Look,
Gerald,
I'm saying with I'll call it the ingenuity of
you can call it that.
Kong.
You can call it that.
Making and fashioning an axe out of one of the spikes of Godzilla's back that gives him.
Well, we didn't know that. We didn't know that he made it, or it looks like it was just given to him.
Well, in any
by
case,
who? Who made such a thing?
Apparently they said that
Grandmaster Monkey.
I was about to say that apparently
these are like the emoji made it.
These are some of the last two like giant creatures from a previous war that they had millions of years ago. I don't know. There's
the kaiju
exposition ex machina the way through it. Had also check out Cinema Sins because they're fucking hilarious. But is gonna fashion an axe that can absorb and repel the lasers that Godzilla has and shoot it back into him. As seen on the trailer,
he's still going to get destroyed by an actual menace. You're a big monkey. That's excellent.
But my thing is, if Godzilla can manufacture such an attack, then obviously it's not going to harm him.
Right.
So why, man?
Look. Well,
Zilla and Ford.
Now that you said that,
I'm not going.
Now that you said that, here's what
saying.
I'm saying on this. Right. If the scale that you got off of Godzilla, if you fashion that into an axe and it can repel and reflect the energy that Godzilla shoots out, then why wouldn't the other 15,000 scales on his body be able to do the exact same thing? If I go see that movie and Donkey Kong reflect his Godzilla's laser back at him and it hurts Godzilla, I'm leaving the theater. I'm leaving because it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any fucking sense.
I mean, there are such things as one-way armor.
Yeah, but if it's going to bounce from your armor, a piece of your own armor, back to you against another piece of your own armor.
You aim for a soft spot. Aim for the open mouth or the throat or the eyes.
He doesn't have any soft spots. Have you seen any of the Godzilla movies?
Open mouth. Oh, my goodness. Okay. I'm not saying Kong is going to win. In the words
of our 45th president of the United States, wrong.
Fuck. Zilla in 5 max.
Zilla in 4. I'm putting that.
So you think Zilla's gonna do to Kong what Poirier did to McGregor?
Choose your next words carefully.
Oh yeah. That's a brilliant segue, Gerald.
That's all right.
I gotta give.
I thought you were just losing yourself a little bit.
Yeah,
I was a little
bit, but I picked it up.
Well, look,
don't worry. Early onset dementia, but I'll be fine.
Well, the only thing that makes a great segue better is sitting there for 2 minutes to acknowledge how good the segue was,
and losing the segue.
So Gerald leads us into our next thing, which is talking about the UFC. On Saturday night, Dustin Poirier fought against Conor McGregor for McGregor's first fight since he announced his retirement. He came back, and I called it. I have the receipts on here on the phone, text conversations of PJ and I making one of our classic bets like we always do. And one of those bets was I picked that Dustin Poirier would take it. And PJ said, Poirier would be better fight against Khabib, but Conor is my boy, so you know who I got. So PJ took Conor, I took Dustin. We had a bet on it, and if you watched, then you know what happened. If you didn't watch, Conor McGregor got KO'd for the first time in his career by Dustin Poirier in the second round, and it was nasty. Dustin was all over him.
I said it on Twitter, and I'll say it on here. The only worst defensive performance in history than what Conor put on Saturday was what the nation of France did in both World Wars.
Or what the Falcons did in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl.
I've never seen a man of such stature as Conor McGregor in their sport lay down like that. That was absolutely the worst thing I've ever witnessed in my life.
In addition to that, because a bet is a bet, and there's two betting men here, and then a Gerald right over there.
The Square.
Gerald the Square. It's a new nickname. We're going to work it in. I asked, what do we got to do if our guy loses? And he said, downing a drink of the other's choosing on air while wearing the other man's baseball team hat. Now, I think the baseball team hat is a little out of it just for this moment, but I want you to raise a glass of J-Mo and say, go Dodgers, and sling it back.
Go Dodgers.
Lord help you.
Look, you can't say
it's the taste of defeat. The taste of defeat, it burns.
Okay, well, you can't say that I'm not a man of my word because,
right.
look, I said I would do it.
Don't you still owe us 5 shots from the other bet?
Yeah, but that's
Gerald. It's a Monday night. I mean, Chris, you got 11.
I'm not saying right now. I'm saying eventually.
First of all, Gerald is saying all this and has never touched a drop of anything. So
you're right. I haven't.
The only alcohol
I haven't lost enough brain cells to be confused about this. All right,
Gerald the Square.
Gerald gets tipsy off of communion. That's all I'm saying.
Square.
You know what the sad part is? We don't have any alcohol for communion. We have Welch's grape juice.
How are you gonna have fake Jesus blood at communion, bro?
Yeah,
because it's not blood. Damn it,
Gerald. You got to take your talent.
You in the Catholic Church. I mean, I do know about you in the Catholic Church, but that's not the point.
That sounds really sus the way you said that. Gerald, you need to take
leave religion and politics out of this.
Gerald, you need to take your talents to a different church. This is the decision 2.0. You sit.
Damn, we lost.
Down to the chair
for
now.
Right. Oh, there he is. All right.
Yeah. I
only
just got to this church, but whatever. Anyway,
you got to find a new one.
Khabib's gonna fight Poirier, or and we'll see where it goes. Like I said, I thought that would be a better matchup because I know Khabib. Dana talked to Khabib. He said he's gonna fight whoever won this one.
Poirier was still only like the 6th rank on it, so I still see Khabib working whoever they put in the ring.
Oh yeah, I mean, no matter who touches him, but I don't see him fighting the winner of Poirier and Gaethje since he just beat Gaethje anyway.
Yeah, so. But I do think Gaethje is a better opponent than Poirier.
Yeah,
but only time will tell. So, moving on to our next segment here, we're going to talk about Major League Baseball. As the hot stove would normally take, we have this season seen something like a cold stove, like a refrigerator, like a freezer. That's all it's been. There has been no, trade deals, trade rumors in December, none in November, no new free agency signings that are big. But now we're finally getting our fair share of some little moves that are hinting at something bigger coming. And aside from trade things, we also have rule changes. So the MLB had given a prospective deal to the MLB Player Association saying, we will give you the expanded playoffs that you want if you give us the universal designated hitter that we want. The MLB Player Association has previously said, no, we're not going to trade them 1-for-1. And then they got offered it, and they didn't take it. So as of right now, we will not be seeing that 16-team format in the MLB playoffs, and we will not be seeing a universal DH across the board. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
I mean, I know, like you had mentioned earlier, the MLBPA is very much concerned mainly with players getting their fair share of pay for the work they output. And the problem with having a universal DH is that it it would undercut people's pay because they would then be no longer capable, hard-hitting, fielding players and get instead paid as just DHs who do not play the field. I mean, obviously, knowing the MLB, these package deals that they do, and Rob Manfred's probably high again, but the MLB is trying to spearhead a lot of new changes. They're still worried about losing viewership and fan base. They're still worried about selling more bobbleheads.
Gotta sell the bobbleheads, man.
Gotta sell the bobbleheads. But no, the I think it would benefit the league to have some consistency, even though it's like it's more of a nod to the old-fashioned quirks of just having the two separate leagues that started separately, joined together to play together. And I mean, how many years ago was it that they actually started regularly having interleague play? I mean, you can only do so much. I mean, the MLB, I think that's been their mindset, is that they can only do so much to change the game, and they're still trying different things to try to get more people watching. But I think, first of all, the expanded playoff I was never too much of a fan of anyway. I mean, there's just too many. I like the size it has now with wild card rounds and wild card games and just the divisional round. I think it's a good amount. I don't think they need to have more teams in there simply because you think you're going to get more viewers because there's more games. I just think they need to work on amplifying the product and not getting mad at players for hitting grand slams while they're winning.
Well, I want to also throw something in, as you said, the expanded playoffs. As a fun fact, the Padres have won 14 postseason games in 52 years. Due to the expanded playoff format, the Dodgers won 13 postseason games in 2020. So the Padres in 52 years only have one more postseason win than the Dodgers got in around 52 days.
I think they need to be less worried about the expanded playoff and more worried about just making the wild card round 3 games.
Yes, I implicitly agree with you on that. Every series throughout the year is 3 games. Just during the year, you make a road stretch, 3 days. You make a homestand, 3 games.
They need to get rid of these stupid rules they had for COVID with the 3-batter minimum out of the bullpen.
No, that wasn't COVID related. That was
that wasn't COVID. That was before COVID.
Yeah, that's a good rule. I like seeing it implemented because it does, keep the game so that you can't just be like a chess match necessarily of.
But that's the brain game. That's like a whole aspect of the sport.
It is the brain game. But what I'm saying is, like, it's still a chess match, but now you have to think 2 turns ahead. You got to think, okay, I've got these guys going up. Now I'm going to put this pitcher in. You can't put a pitcher in for one guy and then scrap him and then put another guy in for one guy. I like the adjustment on that one.
I have seen during playoff games a pitcher come in for one pitch and leave.
Right.
I have seen that before. I mean, I don't
think it takes up about 4 minutes for him warming up and then getting the pitch and then the other guy warming up before you get to see another pitch. It's, it takes up a lot more time than it does on an average game. If you look at it on a game average, I'm sure you only save about a minute or 2. But if you are watching one individual game, it's a real pain in the butt to have it be in the 9th inning, your team's making a stand, trying to put some runners on, and then they just keep switching out their pitcher over and over. That's a delay. It takes the air out of everybody's tires. It stops momentum.
I mean, I understand that. But is there anything the MLB can do to make things, aside from what we already mentioned, to make things a bit more either exciting or just enjoyable for the more a less seasoned viewer?
They did it this season by juicing the balls.
I mean, anything explicit that they can say, like a rule change, something to get more new viewers, younger viewers watching the game.
I don't think that they could. What I think they could do would be implement more things to the All-Star weekend. I think you change it from being a celebrity All-Star game, the All-Star game, and the Home Run Derby. I think you have a skills competition somewhere in there where it's a pitch, hit, and throw type deal, where you get 4 players or 16 players or whatever, and they all got to compete on like a course of, you got to drill a ball from here to meet the catcher, and then you got to run in and just do something. Like have some kind of like almost obstacle course like baseball thing, like they do in the NBA with the skills contest.
Oh, so
Yeah,
like what
something
Renahan
like
and
that.
Novotny used to make me and PJ do during tryouts.
Yeah, pretty much.
Something. But you get that, and like that'll be something a little more enjoyable, a little more easy to feed on. The MLB is notoriously boring for people who don't like MLB during the regular season. That's it. People will want to go see a game of ball. They'll want to go to the ballpark. But as soon as it comes on TV, they hit the next channel button and would rather watch Steve Harvey do Family Feud for 3 hours. But in playoff baseball, something about October is different. And you can't recreate that in the regular season. If people aren't going to watch in the regular season, make them come to the ballpark. And that's the problem with this last season, is that they can't. Hopefully ballparks will be more open this upcoming year, but they can't change too much about the game or else it's not going to be baseball anymore. I like the rule modifications that they fit in, but if you're going to do anything to change the game, you're going to not only alienate your current fan base, but you're not going to get any new fans either.
I mean, I understand that. So, I'm trying to think. Oh, those extra inning runners on base rules.
I was not a fan of that. Not a fan.
Yeah.
There's no reason that you should get a free man on second.
I remember, I think I told you guys this, but the World Baseball Classic that we were going to travel to this year.
Right.
In Miami.
Yeah.
We were planning it. Like this group, we were going to meet up in Miami and go to some games because that's where the final was going to be, or the finals were going to be. But, by the way, has since been moved back to 2023.
As not to interfere with the Olympics, I believe. Because they still...
because they can't. No, I don't know. Because they can't do it in February, March during the Winter Olympics because that's because the Olympics will sue you and win.
Yes, yeah. Because there are how many countries on the Olympic Committee?
204.
And there's how many countries in the World Baseball Classic?
Latin America,
20.
Taiwan, China, North and South Korea, the Netherlands, Israel, the UK, France.
Maybe 30 teams.
Maybe 30. Point is, don't mess with the Olympics. So 2023 is when we're going to go. But point I'm trying to make is that when they did extra innings, after the 10th inning, you go into the 11th inning and you're still tied or still trying to break through to win the game. They end up putting a runner on first and second to start the inning off.
I think I have an idea. I have an idea right here, and the MLB can steal this from me if they want. But what you do is, if it gets to the 11th inning and it's still tied, then you go hockey mode and you have a shootout, which just means home run derby throughout your lineup. That's all it means.
They would never.
That would be absurd.
That would be
the most ridiculous shit to ever happen to this.
Can you imagine that at Camden Yards versus it being at Toronto with a roof open?
Yeah, you have it at Toronto versus having it at Coors. But imagine that. Imagine it gets to the 11th inning and you're like, all right, somebody's got to win. And you just shoot out. You start from the 1, and then each person gets 3 pitches. And if they take it yard, they get 3 pitches from their own pitcher, not opposing, from your own pitcher. And you get to just yak that.
They would never.
I mean, I would love it as a Yankee
Rob
fan.
Manfred.
I would love it. I would love
Manfred
it.
would have an instant heart attack, and both of them would die. All right.
Well, Rob Manfred is allowed to do that because we need new blood up in the MLB commissioner's office.
We need something in the they need to just every rule or compromise they come up with just further pisses off. Like
I've got a question, and this is
baseball fans. Baseball fans aren't going to stop watching baseball. People who aren't baseball fans probably aren't going to start. So
Gerald, you might know the answer to this question. Why can't Adam Silver be the commissioner of the NFL, the NBA, and the MLB all at once? Because I would love Adam Silver to take over as a commissioner of baseball. He's doing great things in the NBA.
Right. By a technicality, I think he can. It's just that probably the contract that's offered by the ownership group is exclusive.
Yeah, well, they can suck marbles, the ownership group. I can tell you one specific MLB owner who can get out of here very quickly. And Gerald, you know exactly who that is.
Bro. While we're talking about commissioners, Roger Goodell hasn't done anything particularly.
Roger Goodell's been-
egregious
No.
recently.
He's not.
Wrong,
It's
wrong.
not that he hasn't done anything wrong.
It's
just
that he
he's
hasn't. It's that he hasn't done anything. That's the problem. Is during the COVID everything, during that outbreak,
Yeah.
during what we're currently in, the NBA, Adam Silver was like, okay, we're going to a bubble. The MLB, they all met and was like, okay, we're going to have this happen, and then everything in the playoffs is going to be at a neutral site in a bubble. And then Roger Goodell was like, fuck it, let them play. Who gives a shit?
I mean, for as bad as the MLB was, the NFL had no excuses to try to figure something out. They had all the time in the world, had seen what every single other league in the world had already done, seen what worked, seen what didn't work. They had access to data. They had the money to make it work. And they came up with the solution of, don't let your fans in, do your best to stay in the hotel, and don't swap jerseys after the game. Because that would be too much
After you've
contact.
played 60 minutes of
I was about to say,
contact
it was
sport.
Roger Goodell continues to prove himself the most inept and incapable commissioner of a professional sports league in the world that I have ever seen. I don't think he's going to be topped. I mean,
I was about to say,
as
you
John,
better not say out of all time, because then you've got Mountain Landis on there.
That's true. Of our
Kennesaw
generation.
Mountain Landis.
Of our generation. As John Oliver of Last Week Tonight once said, the easiest way to bribe a sports executive is to give Roger Goodell a box of old Playboys, and he'll give you what you want.
Well, I guess that's how Robert Kraft got all his stuff done.
At this point, I'm surprised Jerry Jones hasn't tried to make himself the commissioner of NFL.
Well, that would be a move. So moving on,
I would kill myself. I would stop watching football. If Jerry Jones was in any position of power higher than he is now, I would stop watching football.
He influences the league more than anybody else. He's the one that told them to not take Coke deal and get the Pepsi deal for the NFL, because we all know Pepsi goes better with the NFL.
Something like that. Well, so as we're moving to the NFL, now we're going to address the pachyderm in the room of the conference championships in the NFL. This last weekend, we saw the Patriots go up against the Green Bay Packers. Not the Patriots, sorry, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I still got Tom Brady on my mind.
Pretty much the Patriots.
Pretty much the Patriots, but better. You've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going up against the Green Bay Packers, and then you had the Buffalo Bills going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. In any case, Gerald, you had predicted the Bills versus the Packers.
Right.
So you got everything wrong.
Correct.
That makes sense. I predicted the Bucks versus the Bills, which, well, sorry, Gerald, but
no. Call it like it is. I wouldn't do anything otherwise.
I predicted the Bucks versus the Bills, which means I'm 50% right, and I believe that PJ I think he called two. I think I had Bills Bucks, and then I also think you had the State Farm Bowl.
No, you started the State Farm Bowl.
Yeah, I was propping it up. I never had it.
See, I said, and you can go back on my Facebook timeline and fact check me. I said pencil me in for the Bills redemption tour. They were finally going to do it, win a Super Bowl, and it was going to be against Tom Brady, and it was going to be glorious, and they fucked it.
Okay, so Gerald, you're out of this. You have to eat.
Yeah,
bad soup.
my losses in predictions on this podcast are more consistent than your good lighting.
Get out of here. Get out of here. My lighting
All I know is when we do our Super Bowl predictions later, I'm just listening to Gerald and picking the complete opposite. Just pencil me in for whatever the hell Gerald said.
You are the Charles Barkley of We Talk Sports.
The Paul Pierce.
The Paul Pierce. No, even worse, man. The Max Kellerman of We Talk Sports. No, wait. I've got one even worse, dude.
No, don't go there. Don't go there. Don't go there.
I'm thinking of one man who played for the Celtics at a point, and he played next to Paul Pierce and got thinking he was all that good stuff. I'm not going to say it, but you all know who I'm talking about. That's you, Gerald.
We're gonna move on.
I'm going to say it. You're the Kendrick Perkins of the We Talk Sports podcast.
No.
So, the Buccaneers beat one out over the Packers, 31-36, in a game that I have a lot to talk about. And then the Chiefs pulled it out over the Bills in a 14-point win, 38-24. My question: did you guys watch both games?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched most of both games, but I was kind of caught late for the first one, and I had to leave early for the second one.
That's the life of being an assistant coach, right?
That was not the reason I was out, but sure.
Just say it. Just say it is.
We're working.
Just roll with it. Just roll with it. Ball is life. Okay, so
it is the life of being a Protestant.
The Buccaneers-Packers game. Here's my takeaway from it all. Tom Brady played very poorly in this game. He played very poorly. He threw for a 75 passer rating, which is probably the worst that he's ever had in the playoffs in a win over another team. He threw 3 picks, 3 touchdowns, and there were a lot of moments where, 2 of the picks were his fault and one of them wasn't. The first one and the third one were identical. He's going to the ground and he just throws one up and it just gets picked off by the other team. The second one, Mike Evans is like this. It goes off the tip of his fingers and picked off by the guy in the back. That's on Mike Evans, but it's still an interception. Tom Brady played terribly. Aaron Rodgers played very well on his own, except at the end, he started going a little downhill on it. The Buccaneers defense was there all game long. The biggest thing I'm left taking away from this game is that Chris Godwin is a monster, 5 catches for 110 yards, and that Matt LaFleur is an absolute moron.
Is he better or worse?
Matt LaFleur's worse than Mike McCarthy. Worse. Matt LaFleur is bad.
Is he better
Matt
or
LaFleur,
worse?
Look, you're down 8 and you're knocking on their door. You can get a touchdown, right? You can get a touchdown. That's 6 points. Then you're down 2. You can go for 2, and if you get it, then you're tied. If you don't get it, you're down 2. Then you can choose to onside kick or kick it off and hope your defense stops them. And it's on a 4th down. So if you don't get the touchdown, at least you're leaving the Bucs at the 8-yard line where they have to make it all the way down the field. Instead, he opts for a field goal, putting you 5 points behind. You know what 5 points behind is? Nothing. There's nothing you can do when you're 5 points behind. You have to get a touchdown. And you're handing the ball over. First of all, you took the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands. He said, it wasn't my choice to kick the field goal. But you're putting it into Tom Brady's hands and saying, hey, stop this guy who has 6 rings and 9 conference championship wins. Stop him. Stop this guy. No, Matt LaFleur must have choked or been an idiot or something. Because I know it's the second season. He went 13-3 in back-to-back seasons. But you don't kick a field goal then. Everybody knows that. You don't kick a field goal because the field goal gets you nothing. Nothing.
A quick note about Matt LaFleur. He did come from the Washington organization.
Well, he was also the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans, who were like the 28th worst offense in the league when he left.
Right, yeah.
And got a head coaching job here where he's running Aaron Rodgers' last part of his career into the ground. Now, Aaron Rodgers, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm getting out.
He's not okay. He's not running it into the ground. He's running his playoff dreams into the ground. His regular season, he's giving them hope, just enough for the team and organization to still pay him.
Regular season does not get you one of these. He's already got one.
I'm not saying he's concerned about getting one of those right now. He knows he still has time and options.
And he wants one right now. That's what it is. You play in the NFL to get a ring. And Aaron Rodgers is the second best quarterback when it comes to your career accomplishments who's going to be playing next season. You got Tom Brady, you got Aaron Rodgers, and then you got everybody else.
Real quick question. Was that decision to not let Rodgers go for it on 4th down better or worse than putting in Sudfeld at QB for Philadelphia in the 4th quarter of the Washington?
It was a worse decision. It was a worse decision because one decision, the Sudfeld, the benching Jalen Hurts, the Eagles weren't making it to the playoffs. They were just trying to decide who's making it in.
I'd like to interject. That was the most bullshit sequence of plays in NFL history.
But when you're talking about the team that you're playing for, right? He intentionally sabotaged their own team so that the Giants wouldn't get in for some reason. But here we have a coach who wants his team to make the Super Bowl and gave up his only chance of tying the game. Gave it up. Just said,
All right.
Here you go, Tom. Here's your 10th Super Bowl appearance. Have it. Have it right here on a golden platter. Like, that is the dumbest sports decision I may have seen in my lifetime.
I'm not discounting the fact that Matt LaFleur is an ass for doing that and that it made absolutely zero sense. But let's not forget that Aaron Rodgers passed up two not open windows, but enough windows to try to make something happen to run the ball into the end zone 2 plays before that. And he elected to make impossible plays that I don't care. You could be Jesus Christ, no one's catching the balls that easy.
Well, he also, you got to think about that. On the opt to not run in, let's say he ran, and if he got stopped, he'd be at the 1. But Aaron Rodgers thought he was playing in 4-down territory. Aaron Rodgers did not think they were going to kick that field goal on 4th down. And they go and they kick and they send the special teams unit out. And he's like, well, if I knew I was only working on 3 downs, I would have played this a lot different. Because if you're playing 4 downs, you can miss 2. You have 2 downs that you can miss. You can be like, you know what? I'm going to try something. And if it doesn't work, I got another down. I'm going to try something. And if it doesn't work, I got another down. But when you're in 3 down, you can't do that. You only have one of those mess up tries. And so the coach, Matt LaFleur, clearly did not communicate to Aaron Rodgers that they were only playing in 3-down territory. And even though you left him with 2 minutes and 5 seconds on the clock, how do you think you're going to get the ball back? How do you think that? And then the obvious holding call against the Packers was the nail in the coffin. That's the ball game. I think Matt LaFleur made one of the dumbest coaching decisions I've ever seen in my life, especially in a game that meaningful. And I honestly think Aaron Rodgers should seek greener pastures and leave.
Oh, if I'm Rodgers, I'm demanding a trade.
Because
absolutely,
Matt LaFleur in your front office drafted a quarterback in the 1st round, which is them saying, okay, we're getting ready for you to leave, even though he has like 3 or 4 more years left on his deal. Then your head coach, he kicks that field goal. I don't think it's strategic. I think it's because Matt LaFleur lost all of his trust in Aaron Rodgers. I think he just doesn't trust him, which is bad, and it's wrong. It's wrong. Aaron Rodgers is the MVP of this season. He will be the MVP. That's it. And if you're going to take the ball out of his hands and give it to your defense, who has been Swiss cheese all game, aside from 2 Tom Brady errors and 1 bump off Godwin's fingers, that has been the game. They've been a Swiss cheese defense. 1 pass to Gronk for 30 yards. 5 passes to Godwin, 110 yards. Why are you giving it in their hands to win the game? Give it to Aaron Rodgers. He'll make it happen. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm out all the way.
Yeah. I think I'll agree with you on that because Aaron Rodgers is finally he has been as patient as anyone can be with an organization. What I don't get is why he doesn't just tell the fans to fire the GM because the fans control that team. Why he doesn't just get the ownership to get on his side because they're on his side. They love Rodgers. They do. Just say, get rid of this guy or force them to give me weapons. Like, I don't know how well it could work.
Well, you can clearly tell the entire franchise is heading in a different direction because it's not just the GM who's making draft decisions. It's your owner. Is the entire time that, the coaches for the football team were like, don't draft Haskins. Stop it. Don't draft him. And they still drafted him. It's all the way from the top down. Yeah. You can't.
Also the fact that they have who do they draft the quarterback in the 1st round?
Jordan Love.
Yeah, Jordan Love.
Out of Jordan Love. Stanford, was that where you went?
I believe so.
No, I don't even think he went to Stanford.
No. I thought it was at Oklahoma. No,
absolutely not.
That boy's a 2-pack of ass and is not going to be anywhere near what Rodgers is going to get you. So
was he Washington Husky?
No, Utah State.
Oh, okay. He was a Ute.
You are abandoning Aaron Rodgers for a Ute?
No. He wasn't a Ute. It's Utah State. The Utes are just Utah. Utah State is the Aggies.
You didn't even get a quarterback from the best college in Utah.
I don't know if there is a best college in Utah,
I
for
don't
being
even think
honest, man.
I didn't even know there was enough people living in Utah to have 2 colleges.
All
This
right,
is bullshit.
We Talk Sports Podcast Theory. Utah is fake. If you know anybody living in Utah, they don't exist.
Exactly.
Nobody's ever been to Utah.
I'd be
that's how
more
we feel
willing.
about. No, I'm not gonna say that. Oh,
I'd
That's
be
how you-
more. I'd
Get outta here,
be more willing to subscribe to that theory than the Wyoming being fake one. Wyoming is real. I'd trade Wyoming for Utah any day.
Josh Allen came from Wyoming.
there you go.
Speaking of Josh Allen, the other matchup in there was the Chiefs and Bills. And boy, oh boy, did the Chiefs look like the football team they are. And I've got to put this out there. Last week, I was really enamored by Buffalo. This entire season, I've been just roped in by Bills Mafia. The fans are the best. I've had my own experiences with the Bills fans. They offered me chili when we parked out back at a game one time of somebody's house. They were like, hey, come in and get some chili. But I got so wrapped up that I forgot just how, in the words of Phil Rivers, how dadgum good the Kansas City Chiefs are. Now, I know that they play in Missouri, which Missouri is not a state that I like to associate myself with. And we can talk about that on the politics podcast.
Jesus.
No,
but
Kansas City has a stupid good football program.
Yeah.
And I forgot. I don't know. Like, I don't think I legitimately forgot, but I let it get overshadowed by the Bills. And I have to say, my bad. My bad to anybody who's a Kansas City fan who I just, completely left out there. Kansas City came to play ball. And aside from that one first quarter punt drop that got picked up, they were on it all night. Patrick Mahomes, 28 of 38, 325 yards, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers.
I so desperately. It was written in the stars that the Bills were going to deliver greatness to their franchise. It was going to be complete vindication for the city of Buffalo. They were going to get their first Super Bowl against Tom Brady. It was right there.
Actually,
it was right there.
Actually, for the state of New York, because they're the only football team that plays in New York.
Yeah, whatever. But it was there. It was all there, and
whatever.
The football gods have abandoned us. I mean, look, with the Super Bowl we're getting, as I've said before, let's say Mahomes 3 years as a starter, 3 AFC Championship games, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 win. The second one up in the air right now. But if he stays on track with his entire career, he could make a run at making 10 Super Bowls like Brady. He could make a run. This is a huge if. But down the line,
I hate this if.
But down the line, let's say Brady and Mahomes, or the GOAT debate between Brady and Mahomes is there. This Super Bowl could be the tiebreaker for that 25 years from now when we're having a conversation about it.
Well, that entire if is, it's just that. It's not even just an if. He's in his, third year, his 4th year as a quarterback, right? He's in his 4th year. You know how many guys this has happened to who were doing really well and then all of a sudden injury? I mean, you got Grant Hill in the NBA. You've got Derrick Rose. You think about these guys, he is one ACL away from not being the same player as he is right now. He's got that passing skill, but until he has this many, then I don't know if he's ever going to be better than Tom Brady. Is he phenomenal right now? Yes, absolutely. But I'm not going to get ahead of myself and say that he is possibly going to be one of the greatest of all time. That's foolish.
I'm going to say a couple of just general statements on the matter. I don't believe this is the last time we will see the Bills and Chiefs in an AFC playoff game, and I am happy about that being a statement that I can stand by.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Shout out Chris Berman.
But yeah, I'm excited to see the future of Buffalo now that New England is not the powerhouse that it used to be. I am excited to see both Mahomes and Josh Allen's career continue to blossom and prosper and keep going because they are fun
Collide.
to watch. Collide as well. We know
These
that
Josh
the
Allen, Mahomes,
listen, the
man.
NFL is going to
Brady.
start scheduling them together a lot more now, as much as they can. It's just the way it works.
It's going to be Brady and Manning. It's going to be the same thing.
And I can enjoy that, and I'm happy about that. I'm also going to stand by the statement that I put out earlier at a previous podcast that we did, that
Oh, look at him.
I believe
He's doing
Patrick
it.
Mahomes.
He's doing it.
I
He's
believe
calling back.
Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback than Russell Wilson. And you guys slapped it in my face.
That's no. Well, you're entirely wrong, and that's entirely self-congratulatory. Russell
I'm
Wilson.
not being I'm just putting the statement out there.
Look at what Russell Wilson has done. Look at all that. How many rings did Russell Wilson have?
Look.
One.
Yes, two.
One ring?
He has one.
He only had one ring?
He lost
Fucked
the last one on an interception.
Oh, on the pick to Butler, right? Right there in the end zone. Well, he should have had two. Patrick Mahomes, nah, I don't buy it. It's too early to tell.
No, I'm bought into this. My money's down on the table. It's there. Patrick Mahomes is better than.
Then I'm going to challenge you. Hold on. I'm going to challenge you right now. Right now, I'm going to make a bet for you. In 10 years, I'm going to put $200 on this right now. $200. In 10 years, Patrick Mahomes will not have more than 3.5 rings.
You got to make that in. You can't do 3.5. It's 3 or 4.
More than 3.5, which means he's only going to have 3 rings. By 10 years from now, I'll say by Super Bowl in 2031, Patrick Mahomes is only going to have 3 Super Bowl rings. I will make that bet to you right now, $200. PJ's here. This is on YouTube forever. But I do not believe Patrick Mahomes is going to carry that. He has one. He's got one. But here's the thing. The team's going to keep getting better. And it's already happening. It's already happening. And every single player is going to want a bigger contract. Kansas City can't pay that.
But that's the true test of like how it was with Brady, man. If Mahomes keeps doing this shit when all the big names leave and all he has is a short little white dude running slot,
well,
it's a wrap.
Keep in mind, Bill Belichick had traded with 31 other teams in his tenure with Brady. Traded with every single other team. Andy Reid is not a trade man. He hasn't been executing these trades. So he got Sammy Watkins.
But you act like Andy Reid's going to last there for the next 10 years. Andy Reid's not going to last for another 10 years. Even though a brilliant coach, I don't believe he's going to be the only brilliant coach to lead Patrick Mahomes to a Super Bowl or 2.
I think every other brilliant coach already has a spot in the NFL. Sean McVay, Sean McDermott, Frank Reich, Belichick.
I think there's going to be movement. I just
Bruce Arians. Everybody has their job.
Type of movement. I don't think that everyone who's at their job is going to stay there.
I mean, they might get Matt Patricia, but
yeah.
If Patrick Mahomes wins the Super Bowl with Matt Patricia, he's the undisputed GOAT.
If anybody wins anything with Matt Patricia, but I'm putting this deal out there. You can take it or not.
Dwayne Haskins is going to win a Super Bowl.
Joe, I need your answer here. $200 on the table. By 2021, February 10th, 2021, or whenever the Super Bowl is then.
30-31.
30-31. Or 2031. Not
2031.
30. Yeah.
It's a lot of tens going around. We get what you're trying to say.
February, after the Super Bowl in 2031, I don't believe Patrick Mahomes will have more than 3 rings. I think he will have 3. Do you want to take that bet that he's going to have 4 or more by 10 years from now?
Yes.
You do think?
Yeah, I'll take it.
All right. Wait. All right. Wait. Hold on.
Oh, so he's doubling down.
Wait. You're in on it too, because I only got $200 to give out.
All right, 100 towards me, 100 on Gerald, 100 on me.
All right.
I'm thinking about 200. You can make no. You can make a bet about the Knicks. All right. That's different.
All right. Well,
what will happen first? Pat Mahomes' 4th ring or the Knicks first?
Well, the Knicks first, because Patrick Mahomes is not getting 4 rings. So I believe the Knicks. But Gerald, right here, hold on. Right here, Joe, put your hand up. We are sworn on this bet here on January 25th, 2021, that by Super Bowl 65. By Super Bowl 65, the end of Super Bowl 65, Patrick Mahomes, I believe, will not have 4 rings. You believe he will have 4 or more rings. And it wagers $200.
Gerald put it on God. That's
put it on God.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
I'm going to put it on the Bulldog. And not my dog shit. Also, if we hit like 1,000 subscribers, this is getting burnt.
You just do it for the culture, bro.
Fuck Manny Machado. All my homies hate Manny Machado.
I'm sorry, PJ. You said do
for the culture.
What culture?
For the baseball culture. For the baseball culture.
Fine. I was about to say, like, what culture are you claiming other than being an Italian who drinks?
Okay, we've already got the.
Hey now.
Okay, now we've got to get this moving a little quicker. So I'm just gonna press on through this one. We have the Super Bowl slated. Right now, the spread has Kansas City by 3 points. PJ, how are you taking? Let me double check the game itself and give you the betting spreads so that we can accurately assess this. Okay, right now, Kansas City is favored by 3 points, and the over-under on this game is 56.5. So how are you betting on this and why?
Taking Tampa. Because I'm watching enough Tom Brady in my life to know that you never bet against Tom Brady.
All right, betting against the spread, and do you have the over or the under on that? 56.5.
56.5. I gotta take the over, dog.
You know, I'm gonna agree.
Shootout.
I'm gonna agree with you, and here's why. Is because in the Bucs' last 6 matchups, you had 31-26. So you had a 57-point. You had the Bucs Saints, which is a 50-point, which loses that. You got Bucs Washington, which is a 54-point game, which loses that. But Washington has a stalwart defense. You've got Bucs Falcons, which was a 71-point game. Bucs Lions, 54-point game. And Bucs Falcons again, which was a 58-point game. The Bucs are a high-flying offense. You look at the Chiefs, and they had a 62-point game against the Bills, only a 39-point game against the Browns, but they struggled really hard early. They beat the Chargers, or they lost to the Chargers 38-21, still a 59-point game. I'm taking the over on it, and I am taking the Bucs spread on it. I'm betting against the spread. I think that the Bucs, even if the Chiefs win by 2 points, if they win by a point, you still make the spread. But I'm betting against the spread on it, taking the Bucs, and I'm taking the over on it. Now, we have this lineup. I want to hear, who do you guys predict to win, and what's the score?
Well, first of all, I'm taking the over. I think all of us understand that these are two teams that thriving on throwing the ball down the field and getting their offense working, and only supplementing it with a reliable defense.
Oh, whoa. Wait, you might want to hold off on that because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a top 5 defense in the NFL.
Okay. But in the last, you said in the last 5 games, they've not been showing that defense to be someone who stalls your offense.
They showed it in the game against the Packers, and they showed it in the game against the football team. Their defense came to play, especially if you've got White and Whitehead out there. 2 forced fumbles for Whitehead, and then a pick and a fumble recovery.
Point is, as good as the defense is,
that's not the main show.
Right. It's not the main show. It's not where they're geared to. It's not where they're effectively going to win. Either team. The teams win with their offenses, and that's their main focus. So I'm taking the over, and true to fashion, I am taking the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, well, we know how this one's coming out.
Taking the under, and I'm taking the Bucs.
Well, Gerald, you're missing out on the one crucial thing of football, which is defense wins championships.
I understand
And
that.
the Bucks have a clearly better defense. They're going to have both their safeties available this week or on Super Bowl Sunday, as opposed to having none of them available in the second half to stop Aaron Rodgers. They're going to have both safeties, and they're going to have a healthy Ndamukong Suh and JPP on the line, as well as having White in the back or in their secondary, and then having all of their star corners and safeties
I mean,
back there. I see the Bucks winning by 14 points because if I've learned anything, that's my call. Tampa Bay by 14. Never count out touchdown Tom.
what's
I
going to
saw
be the
a
final
Love
score
that
then?
narrative.
I saw a picture of Tom Brady in his big coat staring up at the camera. It's like that LeBron James Game 6 against the Celtics picture when he's just staring up like this. It was the same thing. Tom Brady by 14, 2 touchdowns. That's what I'm calling it. It's going to be a 2-score game. Tampa Bay all day.
Do you have an actual final score? Or are you just going to say by 2 touchdowns?
I'm going to say it's going to be 23 to 37. I like weird scores, baby.
I'm going to have a slightly bolder prediction than most. This is going to be the second Super Bowl ever to go into overtime. And Tom Brady is going to do what he did in Kansas City 2 years ago.
Air it
and
out.
win it in overtime. 35-28. Bucks win in OT.
I like that the idea about it that it's going into overtime. I can definitely see that happening. But I don't know. I still am going to stick with the Chiefs. And I think they're going to put
Or maybe it'll be poetic justice. Maybe Mahomes will win it in OT and get redemption for not getting his overtime drive in that AFC Championship.
I'll go.
Remember, you're rooting for the Chiefs here, Gerald.
Yeah, I know.
Don't take too long.
I'll
That's a hard
go.
one.
Also, Gerald is officially hopping off the We Talk Sports, the pirate ship that we've assembled here.
This is blasphemy, Gerald. Just wrap it up.
Look, I'm just saying. Okay, it's
You also
going to be.
Bucks would even get here. So, Gerald,
Anyway.
right now you're 0%, buddy. You've got nothing.
I'm just saying. The Chiefs are going to win 29 to 27.
Oh, so you're picking the spread for the Bucks. Because 3-point spread, if they don't cover, then whoever bet the Bucks wins that. Gerald, whether Gerald knows it or not, he's still rooting for the Bucks.
That's the plan. That's
Yes,
the idea.
Sir. Yes, sir.
We are
All right.
still brand loyal, even if it's backwards.
So that's our Super Bowl predictions for that one. I think it's going to come down to the defense. I think if Tampa can keep up what they did against the Packers, they have it as a shoe-in. And Tom Brady had a very bad off night, which we definitely saw come out and bite him in the ass in the second half.
He does not have off nights in the Super Bowl.
He does not have off nights. Even against Carson Wentz
He
and
does.
Big Nick in Philly, and then against Eli Manning twice. It wasn't him that lost the game. It was the Giants who won the game. That's that. And it wasn't him.
Don't you forget it.
It wasn't him who lost against the Eagles. It was Big Dick Nick Foles winning for the Eagles. Now we're gonna move on a little bit. We've got some for this. Talking about A-Rod earlier about Aaron Rodgers wanting out. If you are Aaron Rodgers, where would you want to go if you are Aaron Rodgers? Gerald, I'll start with you because I think you think he wants to stay.
I think he would rather just try to get upper management to just give him something for finally once, because he will get Matt LaFleur fired like he got who was his old coach, Sean McCarthy?
Mike McCarthy?
Mike McCarthy.
Hey, he won a Super Bowl with Mike McCarthy. Put some respect on that man's name.
But he definitely dumped him. It was because Mike McCarthy was no longer interested in doing what was best for his quarterback. I think he can still convince some of the higher-ups to do their due diligence and get him the weapons he needs to, because he was a hair's breadth away from being in a Super Bowl again.
All right, and PJ, what are your thoughts on it?
I think he's going to where he was supposed to be all along. I think he's going to try to force his way to San Fran.
Yeah, I think he's either going to head out to LA or San Francisco and find his way there. The only problem is the cap space with them. You know who has the most cap space and a beautifully built line and a great defense who he could come and thrive with under a Super Bowl winning coach? He could come to Indianapolis, play in a dome, no more snowy days, cold weather. You're in a dome, baby. You're in Lucas Oil, one of the top 5 nicest stadiums in the NFL. Or you're playing there, and you've got Quentin Nelson in your line up front. Colts can afford him. They can throw some picks to the Packers. They can do that. Either that or we're getting Matt Stafford, but Aaron Rodgers in blue would look pretty nice. Now, next on to it, PJ, I believe you're going to lead this next bit on here.
Yeah, so, in the spirit of it being Super Bowl week, just whatever it is, Pro Bowl week, whatever. No one's talking about the Pro Bowl because it's on Madden and it's stupid. So we're gonna have some good old fashioned.
Okay, real quick comment on the Pro Bowl thing though. They got the AFC and NFC.
I ain't
teams.
gonna be there.
They got the AFC and NFC teams, and the AFC consists of Deshaun Watson, Derrick Henry, Keyshawn Johnson, and Snoop Dogg.
They got Key in there.
Snoop Dogg's in the Pro Bowl?
Yeah.
He playing?
I ain't watching.
Madden, I guess. But they said I saw the comment underneath. It's like, we already know Deshaun Watson's not going to be playing with the Texans. And the NFC is Kyler Murray, Jamal Adams, Marshawn Lynch, and Bubba Wallace.
Bubba.
What? Dude, as I was saying, the Pro Bowl is stupid and no one cares. So we're going to have some good old-fashioned, old-school lunch table debates about our top 5 Super Bowls ever played and the top 5 teams that deserve rings. Not necessarily. I have 5. I don't know if you guys have 5, but we're going to just throw them out there. So, Corey, why don't you start and give me your top 5 Super Bowls?
Ooh, top 5 Super Bowls? I've only got a couple. Well, I'll give you one, and then somebody else can give me one. But one of my favorite Super Bowls in my most recent thought of memory, I got 2 right now that I can think of that I've lived through, were, of course, the Colts beating the Bears, even though Devin Hester took off from the beginning and ran one back for a touchdown.
It's crazy that no one remembers that Super Bowl for the Colts winning the Super Bowl.
I remember it.
Except for you.
Except for me, because I'm a Colts fan through and through. Since I was little, I've always been a Colts fan. Aside from when I was like 5 and I was a Patriots fan, and then I realized that the Colts had cooler jerseys. So that is one that I'll
raw dog by that deal. I'm sorry.
That's one that I'll. What I thoroughly believe is that I'm an Adam Vinatieri fan, because once Adam Vinatieri left the Patriots and went to the Colts, then I became a Colts fan.
Fair
So
enough.
I'm just an Adam Vinatieri fan. So that is one that I'll always remember, and that just is a special one in my heart. It was a shootout. It was a great game, but
you also had Sexy Rexy on the other side.
You had Sexy Rexy. You had Sex Rex Grossman, dude. And then I think my favorite Super Bowl that I've watched, aside from the one that had my team in it, well, my least favorite one also had my team in it, but I'm not going to discuss that one here. And if anybody does, I'm going to knife you. My favorite Super Bowl that I've ever seen was the New England Patriots versus the Atlanta Falcons. 28-3 in the third quarter. And then I sent my dad a text. I've told you guys this on air before. Sent my dad a text, and I was like, not looking good. He's a Bucs fan, but, he knows what's going on. I'm like, not looking good for Tom Brady. And he goes, send me a text, one sentence. Never count out touchdown Tom. And then the comeback happened. And
that's still the most ridiculous.
They got eviscerated. And that is the most entertaining Super Bowl that I've seen in my life. The worst Super Bowl, though, I'll give you, is Patriots-Rams. That's the worst Super Bowl in the history of the world. Yeah, the second one.
Yeah, the second one.
Yeah, not the greatest show on turf. Not that. The one where it's 13-3. No,
Yeah, that
Give me
one.
give me a- yeah, not that one.
Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, everything sucked about Super Bowl 53. Even the halftime show was an absolute disappointment because they didn't even do the whole SpongeBob thing like they were supposed to.
They hyped up the SpongeBob. If they had done the SpongeBob thing, top 5 Super Bowls that ever happened, regardless of the game.
Oh, the sweet
Right.
victory.
Yeah, but they used it for sicko mode.
Hey,
It's the worst thing I've ever witnessed, bro.
they had Travis Scott.
But it wasn't
It
even
worked.
Travis Scott's halftime show. Whose halftime show was it?
Apparently, Adam Levine's.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's right. What? Come on, bro.
Actually,
The more I think back to that night, the worse it gets. It's just everything about the Super Bowl was horrendous.
I need to amend something that I said real quick. I had mentioned that the Super Bowl 51 was the best Super Bowl I've seen in my lifetime, but that's completely wrong because Super Bowl 49 is probably the best one that I saw, which is Russell Wilson throwing the ball at the 2-yard line and getting picked and that being the ball game. That or the helmet catch has to be either one of those. So those are going in my lifetime achievement watch.
All right. I would say probably one of the first Super Bowl that I ever sat down and watched was Colts Bears.
It's a good Super Bowl.
It is a good Super Bowl, and it was entertaining. The next one, Super Bowl, is it Super Bowl 42?
Helmet catch?
Definitely up there.
Yeah.
Helmet catch.
Yeah.
I could have used some more scoring, honestly, especially being a younger fan at the time, but it was still entertaining.
Well, that was before Plaxico Burress shot himself in the leg at a strip club.
That's true. But
Shout out Plaxico Burress.
The GOAT.
the strip club goat. The second strip club goat aside from Lou Will and James Harden.
All right. Super Bowl 45 is a personal favorite of mine. Don't know why. I just actually enjoyed the Packers beating the Steelers in that game. The Steelers. Definitely.
Didn't the Cardinals beat the Steelers too, or was it the Steelers beat the
No,
Cardinals?
that's another. That's my next one. Is Super Bowl 43.
Steelers over the Cardinals.
Super Bowl 43. The Mickey Mouse catch on the edge.
Larry Fitzgerald was robbed. Somebody needs to get my man Larry a ring.
I'm gonna cover that later.
Larry Fitzgerald is the Vince Carter of the NFL.
That is the most accurate statement I've ever heard.
Larry Fitzgerald. No, look, both Hall of Famers. But nothing right here. Larry Fitzgerald is Vince Carter. All right, Gerald, you had some more favorite Super Bowls?
I had honestly, I enjoyed last year's Super Bowl very much as well.
Well, you're a peasant.
Huh?
You're a peasant.
Don't care.
It was a bad Super Bowl.
Somebody's got to be poor in this group. Might as well be one that isn't white.
Stop that. Don't do that.
Why we gotta go there, bro? This is a family show, bro.
Nobody said anything. Nobody said anything about that.
I'm over here minding my own business.
I'm just sitting here chilling back, listening to your Super Bowl predictions, and then you got to bring up the race thing. Nobody wanted to see the 49ers in the Super Bowl. Nobody cared about that. Nobody wants that. Get that out of here.
I just enjoyed the comeback factor, just knowing that the comeback was going to happen.
Bad Super Bowl. Bad. Bad.
I would have to say, if I had to pick one more, I'm probably going with Super Bowl 51. As much as I didn't I didn't root for the result. It was undeniably the most captivating Super Bowl I've ever watched.
Can't believe I've got a Tom Brady hater in my podcast group.
Going back to Super Bowls that are underwhelming, aside from Super Bowl 53, you got to put Super Bowl 48 in that column. And you also have to and you also have to put Super Bowl 50. Super Bowl 50 was one of the most underwhelming games I've watched
I'm
The
going to say,
Peyton Manning Broncos did not play in a single enjoyable game.
I'm going to say something here, and it's that the least enjoyable Super Bowl, Gerald, you wouldn't know this because you haven't been alive during it, but is the one where, and PJ, you've never had to experience this either, is the one where your team loses in the Super Bowl. So that's got to be the worst Super Bowl I've ever seen, is when the Colts lost to Drew Brees. So that's the worst one.
That's a perfect segue into my 5 favorite Super Bowls.
Shut the fuck up. Get that out of here.
At number 5.
If you mention that, then
we have Super Bowl 43. The Saints against the Colts.
No, that was 44.
No, that was 43.
43.
It was the year. No, that was 44. My bad.
Was it?
Dumbasses, I know what I'm looking at.
44.
Right?
Same shit. Look.
Oh, he knows his Roman numerals.
Look.
Watch out, guys.
Brees got his ring.
Shut up.
Brought some validation to his otherwise abysmal playoff career.
Still abysmal.
We have what it meant to the city of New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina.
Fuck.
And my favorite.
Fuck them. I wanted that.
Stop. You're not gonna. You can't pull a Daniel Tosh on here. All right, you cannot do that.
My absolute favorite aspect of it is that it exposed Peyton Manning for the playoff fraud that he is. Peyton Manning is I would rather have a sack of peanuts at quarterback than Peyton Manning in the postseason.
It's crazy how quickly I'll leave this podcast. It's really crazy.
PJ, you're next.
No. First of all, PJ, I'll tolerate it. I tolerate it to an extent. First of all, earlier in the pre-show, which none of you guys heard,
watch this.
This man came up.
Hold on. I gotta make a change real quick.
Oh no.
This man came up and slandered Phillip Rivers, saying Phillip Rivers is not.
I slandered him on air last episode, bro. I stand by that Phillip.
No, you're. Well, first of all, you're wrong because Phillip Rivers is in all of stats. Oh, that grinds my gears. That pisses me off. What are you smoking? Crack. It's got to be something. I know that J-Mo didn't hit you that hard.
Crack. He's been on it since sophomore year of high school.
I'm smoking that Eli actually played for his 2 Super Bowls. Peyton didn't
play for his first Super Bowl. Peyton didn't play for it. He had over 300 passing yards. Peyton Manning.
First of all, he had 247, and he threw the same amount of touchdowns in that game as Rex Grossman.
Hey, also, don't slander Sexy Rexy because Rex Grossman could play. And then with the Broncos, you're telling me he didn't take a subpar team to the Super Bowl? It's the Tom Brady effect.
When he won? Are you kidding me? What? Peyton Manning could not complete.
No.
Manning,
look. Nothing.
The second
I have to interject. I have to interject here because
you can't breathe Eli and Peyton Manning in the same sentence.
We saw the capacity of Peyton Manning to face a dynamic quarterback and a dynamic offense in a Super Bowl. And the first time he got the opportunity to do it, he blew it because he had no extra cover. They were relying on him, and you saw the blowout that happened between Seattle and Denver.
I want to put this out here.
All right?
No, hold on. I want to put this out here. The argument has always been for LeBron James, he played in a weak East. The East has never been good when he was there. Okay. What quarterbacks did Eli have to run through when he was making his Super Bowls?
What quarterbacks he had to run through? His first run, he had to go against. I mean, I hate Tony Romo, so I ain't even gonna say Tony Romo.
So Tony Romo is that the best one? Is Tony Romo the best quarterback?
Eli to win his Super Bowl, he went into Lambeau, beat Brett Favre,
an aged Brett
his
Favre,
Packers
a 38-year-old Brett Favre,
and then went and beat the then undefeated prime Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
All right, but look at this.
His second run, he played Matt Ryan in the wild card when Matt Ryan wasn't a piece of ass, and then he went into Lambeau again, and he beat Prime Rodgers, 15-1 Aaron Rodgers, and then he went in and beat back the Patrick Willis defense 49ers in Candlestick, and then he beat Brady again.
All right, well, keep this on a thought. Every time
What are you trying to prove here?
when Peyton Manning has been in the playoffs, it's entry. As soon as he gets in, the AFC for the last 15 years has been quarterback HQ. He came in, he would have to run through Tom Brady. He would have to run through Ben Roethlisberger. He would have to run through a Phillip Rivers if he wanted to get.
Didn't he lose to Joe Flacco?
Yeah, but that was when the defense was lights out. Hey, hold on. Before there's Joe Flacco slander, Joe Flacco had the second best quarterback run of any quarterback in the NFL.
I would take Joe Flacco in the playoffs before I would take Peyton in the playoffs.
Joe Flacco, dude, there's a reason they call him the Iceman.
Joe Flacco is a dog in the postseason.
It's him and it's your Washington football team quarterback who went there and scored 7 touchdowns.
You lost to a game manager.
We lost to a defense. Look, Peyton Manning, you look at whoever Peyton Manning had to play. AFC. Dude, you run through the AFC, you're not finding an easy quarterback anywhere there at that time. Peyton Manning had harder competition, and every time it would come down to him or Tom Brady, and more often than not, Tom Brady made it through. But to say Eli is better than Peyton Manning, you're smoking crack.
Listen. I'm not talking about all time. I'm talking about postseason. I'm taking Eli over Peyton any goddamn night.
How many times did Eli have a first-round exit?
Like 3.
How many times?
It's not because he didn't show up to play. Eli showed up to play that last game against Green Bay, that last wildcard game we were in. And Odell was the one that decided to drop every goddamn pass in the end zone that he had. Eli was delivering darts every playoff game.
Still the same amount of rings as his older brother, who is a first ballot Hall of Famer, while Eli is a fringe. So
his older brother doesn't even deserve that second one. He was a crippled old man.
I'm not gonna go that far and say he doesn't deserve his ring. He deserves his ring.
I would go as far as to say that if he rode Brock Osweiler to his second ring, and that's
no. Oh no.
No. Hold on. Give me a sec.
No.
Cap.
Right? Yeah. No.
PJ's going crazy. You're the Max Kellerman of this, dude.
I'm just telling y'all the truth. You don't want to hear, but you need to hear.
You're going nutso. You're ridiculous. All right.
Anyway, I'm gonna go to my number 4 Super Bowl.
All right.
I feel like this should be a lot.
Keep it moving.
I forgot. All right. The next one after that, the number 4 Super Bowl of all time, is Cardinals Steelers. Larry Fitz deserved his ring, and he almost had it if it weren't for – and it's still a camera angle where it doesn't look like Santonio Holmes got that foot down. I will die on that hill. But there's all these camera angles, but there's one.
I believe in the Steelers.
Carol, you're going to get us copyrighted.
I believe in the Steelers. Yeah, you can't.
Not for a still shot.
We might. But in the Steelers-Seahawks game, I still believe that Ben Roethlisberger did not cross the plane to get that touchdown. I think the Seahawks should have gotten that ring, and Matt Hasselbeck should have gotten his ring.
All right. Well, Gerald's looking for that image. My number 3 Super Bowl is going to be Joe Montana's drive against the Cincinnati Bengals. Super Bowl 23.
Wait, pause.
I hate Joe Montana.
Pause.
Joey Montana's.
All right.
Montana.
Let's get into.
That's a bad angle.
I'm working on it here. Hold on.
Gerald, you know exactly what angle I'm talking about because you're the one who I made this discovery with.
Is it that second picture, bro? Because that's in. That's in all day.
Look at this, PJ.
That's all the way in, dude. That's like a foot in.
You see that second toe touching the bottom?
That's all the way in. That's beyond in.
Let me make it bigger for you.
PJ's going.
See this?
Oh, my fault. I guess I didn't see that angle of
Look, it was just one video angle. I'm not saying that it wasn't a touchdown. I admitted that in all
you are also
angles.
the one who didn't think that the miracle in Music City was a legal play.
It wasn't.
It was. There was a line going across where the ball was traveling. You can clearly see it going backwards. It was a backwards pass.
Anyway, my number 3 Super Bowl was Bengals 49ers. Now, number 2, surprisingly, that is not number 1, as you might expect from someone from the likes of me. We have Super Bowl 42, the helmet catch. Eli's magnum opus,
When you mean when Eli only threw for 2 touchdowns and got saved?
He threw for more touchdowns in that Super Bowl than Peyton did against the Bears.
It
So
don't matter.
fuck you.
It don't matter. A win's a win, bro. Also,
right,
it
anyway.
was the Bears defense that we had to play. You played against the Pats defense, who has never been great.
They were undefeated, dog. Anyway?
Spoiled.
You don't go
wait, hold on.
undefeated with
Wait,
this
hold on,
offense.
PJ. This is also, I think, something of interest.
David
for your number
Tyree
4
is a
pick.
scrub, a bona fide scrub.
Yeah.
That is 100% in all day. Oh,
Look at that. Ooh.
No.
that
Ooh.
See?
Ooh.
well, it's still a win.
I tell y'all the truth y'all don't want to hear.
Well, because most of the time you're wrong.
Yeah, like you're saying Eli Manning is better than Peyton Manning.
In the postseason, absolutely. And number 1 Super Bowl, we have the game that turned me from a Brady hater into a Brady lover, Super Bowl 51.
Yeah,
I was cheering against them. I
28-3.
was so happy watching the Falcons running up on them, but then it got to a point where I knew what was going to happen. I could do nothing but sit back and
You saw Game 6 LeBron. You saw face mask Kobe. You saw all that happening all in one, and you're like,
as soon as I saw Brady sitting on the sideline saying whatever prayer he did
with the big coat, probably even in Atlanta, he got the big coat.
All right, now I'm going to start off the next segment. We'll try to run through this one a little quickly. I got my top 5 missing rings, my top 5 teams that were in the Super Bowl and should have won but didn't.
All right, I've got 3 that I believe really
All right.
quickly. One of them is any of those Bills teams because Buffalo did not deserve those 4 falls of Buffalo that they had right in between. They had great teams lined up. Jim Kelly at the helm, who is underrated as a quarterback in history. One of the most excellent just team management, working a playbook quarterbacks that we've seen out of that division, whose name does not start with Tom and end with Brady. Then I would put that Cardinals team against the Steelers because Larry Fitzgerald he needs that ring. Tied for that was that Matt Hasselbeck versus the Steelers early in the 2000s. But my number 1 is not even a team that made it to the Super Bowl. It's not. My number 1 snubbed ring is the number 1 offense in the league, the number 1 defense in the league, and the very, very worst special teams unit in the San Diego Chargers, who played in the AFC Championship game and lost, and Philip Rivers played through it all with a torn ACL. That's my missing ring that I believe.
We're going to continue with the Philip Rivers worship at this moment, just letting you know.
It's not worship. I'm saying Philip Rivers is a Hall of Famer. No Philip Rivers slander to be heard here.
I'm gonna make a take right now. Eli
that
Manning
is a missing
in the Hall
ring.
of Fame before Philip Rivers.
You'd be
Absolutely.
wrong. They're getting rings at the same in the same years. Like,
he's not. First of all, Philip ain't getting no ring.
Yeah, okay.
Philip is definitely getting he's definitely getting his copper enshrined.
That's the only ring he's going to finish his career with, and that is why Eli's getting in first.
Well, I mean, he's getting in first because he retired a year before.
You're saying Eli's first ballot?
That's assuming his place on a ballot is going to.
I mean, with those people in there, maybe first ballot.
Who
But
else is with him in his class?
But Philip Rivers, 100% first ballot. That's 100% a first ballot Hall of Famer. Dan Marino didn't have a ring. Philip Rivers is Dan Marino.
No.
Yes, Philip Rivers is Dan Marino.
No.
What?
No. No, you can't. No.
I'm not talking about it. Speaking of Dan Marino, I'm going to hop on my list because you are going down.
Go look at footballreference.com and check out the stats. Philip Rivers is Dan Marino. Go and look.
Stats aren't everything.
Stats are the end. No. Stats are the end of it all. Dan Marino never won a chip. Philip never won a chip. Philip has more numbers than Dan Marino.
Dan Marino made it to a Super Bowl, though.
Yeah,
Philip Rivers ain't even make it to the Super Bowl.
Don't matter. No ring.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and give my 5 missing rings. Number 5, we have the 2008 Arizona Cardinals because, as we've said about 5 times already this episode, Larry Fitzgerald needs his damn ring. Kurt Warner played his lights out in one of his last years. If not his last year. I don't know. Did he retire the year after?
I thought it was like 2 years after.
Who?
Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner.
Oh yeah, I think it was 2.
Yeah. Number four, as much as I've been slandering playoff Peyton this year, or this episode, I will say the 2013 Denver Broncos definitely deserved a ring that year. It's unfortunate that they ran into the Legion of Boom and that they had Peyton Manning as their quarterback.
Hey, shut the fuck up.
Next.
Number 3, we have the 1984 Miami Dolphins, as Dan Marino deserves his damn ring as well. Number 2, we have the 1990 Buffalo Bills, because that's the closest they got out of those 4 years. Every 4 years, it got progressively worse and worse in the Super Bowl. Yes, they made it.
Was the 1990s the chase down? Yeah, that was the chase down SWAT against the Cowboys with the Scott Norwood wide left.
Scott Norwood was against the Giants.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Scott Norwood.
Bill should have won that. Coming from a Giants fan,
Wide left.
should have won that game.
The Bills
And
of that
number
era were
one.
the same thing as the Braves of that era.
No.
Number 1, I'm going with the 07 Pens. But unfortunately, they ran into.
You got to get out of here with that, man.
And it was lights out. You don't mess with playoff Eli. Gerald, give us your missing rings.
You're a ridiculous man.
Hold on, I'm doing something real quick. Sorry.
Shake my head in the middle
All
of
right.
Gerald
go.
pressing my First Amendment.
All right, that's better because he's not better. He's not superior.
I see them as co-equals, and that's all I'm going to give it.
Well, then you're wrong.
They are no. One is not better than the other. They both have 2 rings.
Wait, no. Hold on. Are you legitimately telling me? Hold on, because I know PJ saying playoffs, but are you telling me, Gerald, that Peyton Manning and Eli Manning are equals?
In the playoffs, yes.
No. I'm not talking the playoffs. Do you think they're equal?
How are we feeling, boys?
What do you think,
yes.
Gerald? One of them is like 4th or 3rd or even 2nd on the best quarterbacks of all time, and the other one is just good in the playoffs. You're going to tell me that Peyton Manning
it matters?
Where it matters.
You said it earlier that you play football to win a ring.
You play football to win a ring, but when it comes to being a great quarterback, you look at everything. Check down the list. Peyton Manning 2nd on all time, or 3rd on all time touchdowns, 3rd on all time receiving.
I hope you know. I was joking, right?
You're ridiculous. Oh my! You're getting my blood pressure up.
I was joking. Peyton Manning
man.
overall is a better quarterback than Eli Manning.
A much better quarterback than Eli Manning.
A better quarterback.
A much better. Peyton Manning's top 5.
I'm still taking Eli in the postseason.
Well, of course you are. You're a New Yorker.
You can.
I was about to say, you come from the town where Bill Burr, the comedian, decided to roast the entire audience of 20,000 people.
Here's my question, though, PJ. If you had the teams that you had, right, but you could swap out Eli for Peyton Manning, would you?
No.
On purpose?
I would not do that.
You're a
Dog.
scoundrel.
I think we need to move on to something else.
You're
here.
a scoundrel. You're a scoundrel.
Look, you're asking me if I'm replacing a team that won the Super Bowl, 2 teams that win the Super Bowl,
Scoundrel.
with 2 of the top 10 postseason quarterback runs ever. If I'm replacing it,
Wait. Stop the presses. You're telling me that Eli Manning is the reason that they won those Super Bowls?
I mean, our defense sure as hell helped.
You're smoking crack.
No, wait. No.
Crack.
David
Tyree. Wait. Those were full team performances on both of those Super Bowls. I'm not done. Those were 2 full team performances, but Eli Manning elevated those teams to help them win the Super Bowl with some incredible passes.
Listen to this.
Mario Mamahams and David Tyree.
I will get to David Tyree.
David
I will
Tyree's
get
pass
to
was
David
a
Tyree.
bad throw that David Tyree managed to pull off. It was a
David
bad
Tyree-
It wouldn't have happened if Eli Manning wasn't good enough to get out of the pocket and away from pressure to get the ball down the field.
How many
And
times did we
that
see
throw to
Peyton Manning?
Manningham,
How many times did we see Peyton Manning roll out of the pocket to the right and yoke it down the field to Marvin Harrison? What, like 800 times? Or Reggie Wayne? 800 times? He could do
You're
that.
acting like
you're on
that's
the
not
money.
an accomplishment to pass to someone 800 times and do it consistently on the biggest stage in the world for your sport.
But what I'm saying is, Eli Manning got lucky on that. Eli Manning is not a dimer. He's not putting it where it is. And to say that you'd rather have Eli than Peyton Manning?
In a Super
playoff
Bowl, yeah.
Eli. Playoff that
That's-
that throw to Mario Manningham in Super Bowl 46 is a top 5 throw in Super Bowl history.
Crack is being smoked right now on this show
I
live.
will die on that. That's a
It
top
wasn't.
can't
Look,
see-
no.
I
Here's
can't
the
see the
thing.
crack
Here's the
pipe.
thing. I'll agree to that because I tell you what, it's better than whatever Russell Wilson threw to his receiver in Super Bowl 49.
God,
Yeah, much
yoke
better
it in
because
then.
that was a circus. That was a circus catch.
It's
It
better
bounced
than
off of
whatever
him 3 times.
It's better than whatever crackpot passes Peyton was throwing against the Seahawks.
You know, he was going up against the Legion of Boom, dude. If you want to bring up defense, you look at Tom Brady's defense on the Patriots. They didn't have what the Legion of Boom was. That was a 100% defensive constructed team. If you want Eli Manning as your quarterback, you can have that. I'll give it to you. But you're losing 9 times out of 10 to a Peyton Manning-led exact same team.
Anyway,
Peyton's head-to-head record. Let's compare Eli and Peyton's head-to-head records against.
No, wait. Let me put
Let's
this out
get
here.
our winning percentage.
Let me put this out here. How many times has Eli been to the Super Bowl?
Twice.
How many times did he win his conference?
Twice.
Twice. How many times did Peyton win his conference? 4 times
2 with the Colts.
and 2 with
2
the Broncos.
4 times. And he won 2, and he didn't even play to win in one of those. Peyton Manning has one legitimate ring, I would argue.
No. Hey, easy. Every
outta
ring
here.
is legitimate. All right.
It's a ring's a ring.
Except every ring is legitimate except for the Astros and Red Sox. We determined that. All right.
Yeah. Also, I got one more thing I'd like to put out there for you real quick.
I'm still taking Eli. It ain't going to change my mind. But let's go.
Hey, I got a question. How many MVPs does Eli Manning have?
How many Super Bowl MVPs does Eli have compared to Peyton?
Well, no. That's not the question. Well,
I don't
guess,
give a
I guess,
shit
I guess
about
two.
Lamar
Wait.
Jackson has Lamar Jackson has more MVPs than Eli, and I'm still taking Eli in the playoffs. Where are we going here? Give me Super Bowl MVPs.
What has he got? One? He won. He got the first one, and then didn't get it because Von Miller got it in the second.
Because so Peyton has 1 Super Bowl MVP compared
Right, but
to
Peyton
Eli's
Manning.
2.
But hold on. This is of people who made the Super Bowl. This is 2 teams that you're fighting in between. But in the MVP, it's the entire league, and you know how many Peyton has?
And
Hold on. Wait.
MVPs that perform?
Hold on.
I'm not talking about MVPs.
Wait. Tell me how many MVPs Eli has. Tell me.
0.
You know how many Peyton has?
Don't know, don't care. Because it's
5.
a regular season award. Do you know
5.
Matt Ryan won MVP and he still pissed away that Super Bowl.
But
What are we doing here talking about MVPs?
He has
Regular season
5
MVPs.
MVPs. Okay, wait, no, hold on. By that standard, you're going to say, oh, Barry Bonds has 7 MVPs, but he's not the greatest of all time because he's never won a World Series.
I would make that
Different
argument.
sport, different argument.
You would make that argument?
No. I'm not going to make that argument. I'm saying it's a different sport. A
No,
completely
but
different
but
sport.
But it's still, you're a player who has a part in a team. The quarterback can't 100% guarantee a win.
No,
they can only make offensive production.
Here is the thing. Is that the championship is the main goal of any athlete ever. You're supposed to win. You're supposed to win a championship.
Eli has
It is a crowning. It is a crown. It is a crown of your achievement. Every other achievement up to that is a filler for when you finally get the championship that you want. Think of any sport, especially team sports. No matter how good a player is, no matter how talented, how phenomenal they are, they have not made it, they have not won it until they get their ring, their championship ring. And with few exceptions, the people who are held in high regard are those who won more rings than anyone else, especially against those who never won a ring. You ask who's better, Joe Montana or Dan Marino?
Montana.
Right. You ask who's better. Right now, Argentina is going through the question: Maradona versus Messi.
Maradona, all day, every day.
All right. So, do you catch my drift about the thing about the championships? Even though it is not the only thing that defines a good player. It is the crowning achievement in any sports career.
Right, but both guys have 2 chips.
Right, and I knew this was going to happen.
And then once that happens, you go to win percentage.
This is why I wanted the Panthers to win that Super Bowl, because Peyton. If I knew if the Broncos won that Super Bowl, I was going to hear about Peyton having 2 rings constantly. Situations like this when he had no business. He contributed nothing to that second Super Bowl team. Like, it was painful to watch him play that year. He was out for half of the season. It was horrendous to watch Peyton play football. That was the Peyton Manning.
Wait. You know Peyton Manning won the MVP in 2013, right?
Right. And he
So what are you saying? He barely had business running a team?
No, I'm talking about in the second Super Bowl.
Right, but he won it. No, in 2013.
In 2013, he won the MVP, went and got his ass handed to him in Seattle.
Right.
And then
the next year.
No, 2 years later.
2 years later in 2015.
2 years later was Panthers, Broncos.
Yeah, but
Peyton was a husk of himself. You cannot try to convince me otherwise. You cannot look me in the eyes and tell me with your whole body that Peyton was a good quarterback that year.
Offensively and defensively, the Broncos dominated the 15-1 Panthers. They outplayed them, both sides of the ball, offense and defense. Peyton Manning did what he had to.
I mean, Eli Manning did the same exact thing in Green Bay.
Part of being a quarterback is knowing, hey, sometimes I need to hand off the ball. It's not always throwing all the time. Peyton Manning was an excellent field general on that field, and
but what I'm saying
was
is,
the reason.
If it was 2013 Peyton, and he was handing off the ball all the damn time, then sure enough, he did what he needed to do. If they told Peyton to go throw a 50-yard bomb in that Super Bowl, he's not doing it because he couldn't. In the second Super Bowl that he had in Denver,
he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to.
He was ass. It's not because he didn't need to. It's because he couldn't. It's because he was a shell of himself. He was not. You cannot tell me he was a good quarterback that year.
I'm going to tell you he was a good quarterback, and it was good enough to get him one of these. And that's all you need. Now, that's not saying that the Baltimore Ravens, Trent Dilfer, was a good enough quarterback to get him a ring, because that was obviously carried. But we're going to wrap this up. I want to get each of your guys' 3 best games this season before we go into our end segment.
Definitely the Monday night game between the Bengals and the Steelers. Wildly entertaining. There was also...
What week was that?
I believe it was later. It was after they had lost to Washington.
Okay.
So it was the week after they lost to Washington. I remember that. So that was good. That was enjoyable. What else was it? I know there was another one that was kind of I like shootouts just by nature. Like, I enjoy them more than grinding defensive battles. But I would have to say,
I guess you can hold on to that, and then PJ can give me one, and then I'll give one. All right.
Yeah.
PJ,
yeah, go ahead.
Give one of your top 3 games this season.
I'm going to go ahead and say the regular season matchup between the Ravens and Titans with Derrick Henry's 30-yard walk-off touchdown run in OT.
I like that. That was a good one. I'm going to give only regular season, because if I got postseason, all my top 3 are going to be the postseason. So my third favorite game this entire season, the third best game, was the Bucs absolutely dominating Green Bay in Week 6, 38-10. This was before the Bucs had it figured out, but their defense pressed Aaron Rodgers, forced him to make 2 picks, got another takeaway. Tom Brady ran with it, 38-10. That's my third best game of the year. Gerald, you got your second?
I can't remember it. I really hold on. I gotta look it up because I remember.
Gerald going crazy. All right, PJ,
I am.
You can take your second.
Y'all like sucked the life out of me with that last argument. All right, you really did.
Gotta have an argument sometime. We've gone like 23 podcasts without having a heated argument. Why not start now? All right, PJ, what is your second best playoff matchup? Or not playoff matchup, but second best game that we've seen this season?
I'm going to say I'm going to go football team Steelers, exposing the Steelers for the frauds that they were. They were never the same since. Single-handedly broke them.
Well, it took down their undefeated record, right?
Yep.
Or was that the game after?
They won one game after that for the rest of the year. The Steelers won one game.
The worst 11-0 or 10-0 team that we've ever seen in our lives. My second best, I'm going to give it to the Indianapolis Colts versus, again, Green Bay. When we beat them in overtime 34-31, that game was a sling, like a gunslinger show. You had Phillip Rivers on one side, Aaron Rodgers on the other, just hucking the ball downfield, getting takeaways, playing the ball, doing well, takes to overtime. We get 3, they get nothing. Ball game. Gerald, your second favorite game of the season?
Oh, yeah. Okay, got it. Monday night, Browns-Ravens, 47-42 with Justin Tucker winning it on the 55-yard field goal with 2 seconds left.
College game.
I mean, I like college football, so
yeah,
it was definitely an entertaining game. It definitely was. Also, and I'm just gonna give my third one because I know I'm behind. My third and final. My Sunday night football. Seahawks-Vikings, 27-26 in Week 5. That was the closest. It was entertaining. It was back and forth. Lots of fun. It's just for me, that was the one I probably enjoyed the most, especially considering wasn't really pulling for anybody in that. I was just watching it to enjoy the game, which is always nice. Always fun.
I guess I'll take my next one and say that the absolute best game of the season that I watched was Week 10, another Week 10, the Buffalo Bills versus the Arizona Cardinals in the Hail Murray attempt with Kyler Murray throwing the ball out to Hopkins for that final Hail Mary attempt, mossing it out of the Bills cornerback's hands and ending the game. I believe it was 32-30. That is the best game that I've seen all season.
My last favorite is not really necessarily the best game, nor is it just one game, but my favorite sequence of this year was the first 4 weeks when the Falcons blew 3 consecutive 30-point leads.
Oh yeah.
It was just horrendous. It was just oh my god.
It was against
every
game.
Against
the Lions, the one I saw live against the Lions, and then the next week they lost against. I don't know. They could not hold a fourth quarter lead, and it just kept on harkening.
It wasn't even a fourth quarter lead. It was a substantial fourth quarter lead.
At least
the whole
scores.
half of the first half of the season, it was horrendous to watch.
Yeah.
So this is going to lead us into our end segment. But before we get to that end segment, we've lost quite a bit of legends in the last 2 weeks since we've last been on here. First off, I'm going to give it to Hank Aaron, the once home run king of MLB, still the second most home runs hit by any player aside from Barry Lamar Bonds. Hank Aaron passed away just about, I think, 5 days ago at the age of 83, I think it was. Then the other we also had Don Sutton, Dodgers pitcher for many, many years, passed away. And finally, Tommy Lasorda passed away after dealing with being in the hospital with issues for 2 weeks at a time and then being released and finally being able to, go to another place very peacefully in his own home. So we are with these legends and with their families in this time, but it is just to put out there that, the greatest of all players, they always somehow fade away into the night. But they will not be forgotten, and we will always remember Hank Aaron, Don Sutton, and Tommy Lasorda. And if you want a particularly raunchy Tommy Lasorda trash talk clip, you can find that in the description of this video. It is the funniest thing you will ever hear from an old man. Now, our final segment, as we do on every show, this is, as you can see in the title, the We Talk Sports 23. We will be doing the number 23 for greatest athletes of each sport of all time. As you might know, if you have prior knowledge, there is some debate about this. So I'm going to start off generally with basketball. Michael,
I'm starting off with basketball.
You're starting off. All right.
All right. Yeah, we gotta wait for this.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Take him out there, PJ. Get him, PJ.
There's a lot. Don't listen to what the other two gentlemen of this show will have to say. There's a lot of legendary number 23s to play.
We've already heard enough ridiculous claims this episode alone.
There are a bountiful list of number 23s to ever play basketball. But the top, the cream of the crop,
oh God,
is defined by his 14-year stretch with one team.
God, no.
The undisputed GOAT. The one, the only, Marcus Camby of the New York Knicks. It's the single greatest basketball player to ever wear the number 23.
Kill yourself.
Okay, I'm going to dispute this. Do you have any career accomplishments for Marcus Camby?
Right, like any significant stats that stand out?
Which, by the way,
any All-Stars? Any
shooting records?
Listen.
Any stretch of triple doubles? I mean,
you got anything for Mark Camby?
He was part of our finals team in '99. A shortened season when the Knicks were the 8th seed, much like this year.
Oh, we forgot to mention that, by the way. The Knicks are currently the 8th seed in the NBA.
Last time it was a short season, and the Knicks were the 8th seed. They made it to the finals. Led by the GOAT, Marcus Camby. But go ahead.
Right. Gerald, you can go ahead and
go ahead with your lies and propaganda.
All right. I'm gonna say this with a caveat, but we had predetermined that this would be my option, and I think I'll stand by it. And definitely, this player's accomplishments will not be diminished. Will go down in the history books. Will be understood and looked up to by children around the world for years and years and decades to come. An influential part of not only the basketball world and the sports world, but the world in general. We have one King James, LeBron James, who has recently just won his 4th ring, and I think is on his way to winning his 5th. Multiple stats and records broken, better and longer, more consistent career in general than most other players that have worn number 23, and undisputed best player in the world at this very moment, and doesn't seem to be slowing down. Continues to play in his prime. Continues to be a powerhouse in the playoffs, continues to carry his teams to greatness almost every single year. LeBron James, number 23. I will put a caveat on that I recently just saw a quote, or I'm going to quote a text from Complex magazine saying LeBron James Jr., his son,
will not wear
Won't-
number 23
will not wear his dad's
because
number.
he doesn't want people to know who he
He
is.
doesn't want people to know who he is.
Yeah, checking in at number 4, LeBron James Jr.
Hey, bro,
Fans there.
who's
Hey,
that
bro,
guy?
who that is?
Also, you can, Corey, you're probably going to agree with this, but like, let's be honest, 23 is not his dad's number.
Well, it is, and it was. My number 23 wore number 23 for only 2 years, averaged 5 points, 1.5 rebounds, and a third of an assist. Steve Novak for the San Antonio Spurs. The GOAT.
Bro, Steve Novak was Steve Novak when he was wearing 16, bro. Any other Steve Novak? No Steve Novak of mine.
In all seriousness, I'm going to read off some stats here. 10-time scoring champ, 3-time steal champ, 14-time All-Star, 11-time All-NBA, 9-time All-Defensive, 3-time All-Star MVP, 87-88 Defensive Player of the Year, 5-time MVP, 6-time NBA champion, and 6-time Finals MVP. And on top of that, never went to a Game 7 in his Finals career. Your airness. I don't care about a king. I care about your airness. Michael Jordan at a UNC also has a title to stand for him. Michael Jordan, the best number 23 to ever take the basketball court in the history of man. Unstoppable. Now, we've also got some other sports that we have to cover with this. So, Gerald, I believe you said you would take football on this?
Yes. Now, for football, have picked a player who played for multiple teams, played for the Bears, the Falcons, the Ravens, and the Seahawks, a 4-time Pro Bowler. But I'm going with Devin Hester.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
I mean, Devin Hester, he's great, and
he's great. No, he's great. He's great at one
the most
thing.
dangerous return specialist in league history.
That's it. That's the only thing Devin Hester has ever been great at.
But he's also one of the only people who's ever been good playing number 23 in the NFL. All right.
There.
Who else has there been? Arian Foster and Troy Vincent.
Arian Foster was a dog.
I'll pick Devin Hester over Arian Foster.
You're a clown.
Because you know why? Because he has that Super Bowl moment.
You're a clown. You're a clown.
Anyway.
So moving on from Gerald, I could have picked Don Mattingly and stayed Dodger true and my former manager, but instead I'm going to list you first. And if you can figure out this Chicago Cub who played for, I think it was around 15 years, he's got an MVP under his belt. He's got a decade's worth of All-Stars, 9 Gold Gloves, 7 Silver Sluggers, finished with about 2,400 hits, about 300 home runs, less than 300 home runs, and a 285 batting average. This man, Ryan Sandberg, probably the best MLB player to ever wear 23. As you got to think about it, there's not a lot of MLB players who wear 23. So if I got to go down to Ryan Sandberg, at least he's got an MVP. At least I don't have to dig as low as whatever Gerald said. Devin Hester. Get out of here with that.
We ranking Marcus Camby above Devin Hester?
I'm 100% ranking Marcus Camby above Devin Hester. I'd better say, you brought Devin Hester to a Marcus Camby fight? Come on, man. Get out of here. All right, PJ, you got any hockey players who wear 23 or anything?
Y'all got my favorite 23 already.
Gerald, you got any soccer players who wear 23?
I will in 3 seconds.
Yeah, if there's anybody notable, then we'll tack them up.
It's got to be. It's probably a European. Oh, I know. Very easily. David Beckham.
The GOAT.
War number 23.
Go. Look at me already knowing things before I ask them. You know, nobody has a phrase, bend it like Ronaldo or bend it like Messi. But there is a phrase, bend it like Beckham.
You know his nickname, right?
The Spice Girls' husband?
No. Golden Balls.
I hate that.
That's his nickname internationally. He's Golden Balls David Beckham.
I don't think that's true.
I don't care if you think it's true or not. It is.
How do you say that in Spanish?
Balón de oro.
I hate that. Balón de Oros, David Beckham.
I mean, it's kind of like an offhand remark. You know who you're referring to. We're referring to Golden Balls over there.
Yeah, I hate that more than anything.
I don't care.
I hate that more than I hate PJ coming with Marcus Camby being the best number 23.
Or Devin Hester being the best 23.
I also hate that equally. But anyway, as chaotic as this podcast has been, this has been the 23rd edition of the We Talk Sports podcast. As always, I've been Corey.
Yeah.
And Gerald.
And we'll catch you next week.
See you, everybody.